Welcome, my Barbarian friends. Your creepy uncle here. We're going to be doing the Immortal Kings set dungeon mastery achievement guide today. It's probably changed since I did this years ago, and I've had a lot of messages saying that you want more updated guides on set dungeons. So as I keep playing through every class, re-rolling every different class every season and playing each and every different set each season, I'm going to refresh the set dungeons and build guides, everything. We're doing everything fresh. So while I'm playing this hybrid Immortal Kings / Raycors charge build, I'm going to show y'all how to do the Immortal Kings set dungeon. It's super easy if you just follow all of these details. So let's start with the skills. And if you're looking for a really detailed build guide, I just actually uploaded one not long ago for the Furious Charge Barb. This is absolutely 100% up to date for this current season, and you'll definitely be smashing through greater rifts if you follow all of the details in that guide. It is quite lengthy, so this is going to be a quick summary of the skills and the gear required. If you're looking for a really detailed build guide to this, which is exactly the same setup almost, or pretty much, except one change, which I'm going to get to in a second, then just check out that video. I'll post a link in the description below, and I'll also have like a link right at the end of this video on my end screen. So what we're using here, you can either use Seismic Slam with Rumble or Ancient Spear with Boulder Toss. It's only serving as a Fury dump just so we can make sure that our Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients are going to be up 100% of the time, because it's part of the objectives for the set dungeon, which I'm going to bring up the objectives shortly, and it'll all make sense once I start explaining it in more detail. Furious Charge with Battering Ram, Sprint with Marathon, Battle Rage with Bloodshed, Wrath of the Berserker, obviously we're using with Insanity, and Call of the Ancients with Together as One. The passives, Ruthless, Brawler, Rampage, Tough as Nails. I'll talk a little bit more about the skills and stuff in my build video, so make sure you check that out. It's definitely going to be worth your while if you're playing a Barbarian, and especially if you're doing Immortal Kings Hybrid Raycor Furious Charge Barbarian build. Alright, so let's look at the gear. You want to have... With this season, we've got the buff of the Ring of Royal Grandeur, so we can have one less set item of the two sets that we're using here. Otherwise, make sure that you have a Ring of Royal Grandeur either equipped in your items here, in your actual gear, or have it in Canonized Cube. Just make sure that it's active. Otherwise, the Ring of Royal Grandeur buff is up, so right now we don't have to have the ring either equipped or in Canonized Cube. So you want to make sure you have at least 3 pieces of Raycors, and this will allow you to access the 4-set bonus, increasing Furious Charge damage by 1000% and accessing every rune, or having every rune active. Then you want to make sure that you have at least 5 items of Immortal Kings equipped in any combination that you want to mix and match. It doesn't matter, it just depends. Maybe like if you want to make sure that you have your better ancient items equipped, that's fine. Whatever gear is best suited for you, just make sure that you have 5 Immortal Kings and 3 Raycors. So with 5 Immortal Kings, because of the Ring of Royal Grandeur buff, we access all of the 6 set bonuses there. So for 2, Call of the Ancients lasts until they die. For 4 pieces, reduce the cooldown of Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients by 3 seconds for every 10 Fury that you spend with an attack. So this is where our Fury dump is critical. As soon as we start attacking enemies, we're going to gain Fury. When it's full, you want to make sure that you, in this case, use your Ancient Skill with Boulder Toss, dump the Fury, it'll decrease the cooldown, and then you want to, once you're up at full Fury again, do a second dump, and at the second dump, these will be back up again, and you can reactivate them. Keep them up 100% of the time. For 6 pieces, while Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients is active, you deal 4000 increased damage. Very important to what I'm going to talk about shortly with the objectives for the set dungeon. I'm going to get into that shortly. The other items you want to have, you can have pretty much any amulet piece equipped, especially if you're high on Paragon Points. It doesn't really matter what you have. Preferably a Hellfire amulet with a good passive that you can use, or just any sort of ancient or primal ancient that has high damage. This has vitality, strength, and critical hit chance, so I'm just using this for the time being until I get a better neck piece. You can use anything, but preferably use a Hellfire amulet with a good passive, excuse me. Ancient Path and Defenders in the Braces slot. We're using Focus and Restraint here, and of course part of the Immortal King set, my Primal Ancient Boulder Breaker. This is definitely highly recommended to use as part of your Immortal Kings set. It'll make getting the rest of the 4 items for Immortal Kings super easy. And I've got resistance gems slotted into all of my gear slots here. And the jewelry items I've got, or the jewelry gems, I've got the Bane of the Trapped, Esoteric Alteration, and also Bane of the Stricken. But set dungeons are super easy. The enemies die really easy, sometimes almost too quick, depending on the objectives. That can also be a little bit of a pain, and we have to actually down gear some items so we do less damage. In this case, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to really affect us. And also Esoteric Alteration. The gems aren't going to impact us for the set dungeon, is what I'm trying to say, especially if you've got a fair bit of Paragon Points saved up. It's going to be super easy. But these are the gems I'm using. This is the recommended setup for the hybrid Raikor / Immortal Kings build anyway. This is like, I haven't changed anything in the gear or the skills that I'm using from the actual build that I use to run Greater Rifts. So everything's exactly the same. Paragon Points, if you're not maxed out, then you definitely want to make sure you're at 25% capped movement speed. So I've got 12% in my gear, 13% here, that's 25%. We don't benefit any more than that because it's capped there when it comes to Paragon Points and gear. So if you had 25% just from gear, let's say 13% in your boots, and you had like an amulet with 12%, that's 25 total, then you wouldn't have to have anything in here because you're already capped. Alright, so if you're not capped, you got 12% in your gear like I do, then put in 13 here, everything else into strength. With offense, dump everything into critical hit chance, critical hit damage, attack speed, and then cooldown reduction. Because we've got that fury dump, we're not going to really need a lot of cooldown reduction. It will help with the furious charge, but because everything dies pretty much instantly, it's not really going to affect our furious charges, to be honest with you. With defense, you want to chuck in everything into resist all first, then throw it into armor, then life regen, in that order. With utility, you want to go area damage first, then you want to go life per hit, then resource cost reduction, and then gold find last. Now I will bring up the set dungeon objectives. We'll quickly go through that, and then I'll show you how to access the set dungeon. And just keep in mind, make sure that you have that 6 set bonus for Immortal Kings activated. If you can't access the set dungeon once you go to the location that I tell you, and you're thinking, why isn't the portal coming up? Have a look at your gear, see how those 6 pieces are all active, they're all highlighted in green. That means that I've got 6 items equipped. In this case 5, because we've got the Ring of Royal Grandeur, reducing 1 set item, reducing the requirement of 1 set item. So it's still like we've got 6. So just make sure that they're all active. That's how you make your portal pop, because a lot of times I get the question in my comments asking, why isn't the portal popping up? Why can't I access the set dungeon? It's because you won't have the 6 full piece bonus active. That's why. That is the answer to your question. So either have 6 full pieces equipped, or if you've got the Ring of Royal Grandeur either equipped or in Kenneth Cube, or if you're playing this season and you've got the buff, then just make sure that you have the 6 piece bonus active. Alright, let's bring up these objectives, let's talk about them, and then we'll go and smash through the set dungeon, and I'll show y'all how to get your mastery achievements. Alright, so these are our objectives. So the 2 primary objectives, the first one is kill every elite using the 4000% damage bonus. This is our 6-piece bonus for Immortal Kings, and it's only active if Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients are active together. This is why we have that Fury dump, and you have to make sure that when you're progressing through this set dungeon, you're killing mobs, when you're at full Fury, make sure that you dump your Fury using Ancient Spear with Boulder Toss, and make sure that you're ready to reactivate Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients, so it's up 100% of the time, and then that entire time, for 100% of the time, 4000% damage bonus is active as well. And then you pass that objective just like that, just by making sure that Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients is up at all times. So you'll pass that for sure. Then, kill 150 enemies while Wrath of the Berserker is active. Again, super easy. We're going to be killing enemies, and we're going to make sure that Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients is up 100% of the time, so that's just going to be another no-brainer. All you have to really think about in order to do these super easy primary objectives is just to make sure that you're using your Ancient Spear, Boulder Toss, Fury Dump, and just keeping up your Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients up at all times. That is it. So the basic one, if you don't know, if you're new and you're just about to do your first set dungeon, or you haven't done a Barbarian set dungeon or whatever, your basic, complete one objective and kill 118 monsters within the time limit, but we're going for Mastery Achievement. So, for Mastery Achievement, complete both objectives and kill all monsters within the time limit. So instead of killing 118, we have to go around every little nook and cranny and uncover all parts of the map wherever a monster may be hiding and make sure we kill all of them. It's going to be super easy, so don't stress. And as always, taking fatal damage will fail the set dungeon but not kill players, and game difficulty has no effect on dungeon difficulty. So you can log in on Torment 1, Torment 2, Torment 10, Torment 13. It doesn't matter. You can go in on any Torment level that you want, because when the set dungeon portal pops, it's the same difficulty inside that set dungeon, no matter what difficulty you're playing at. So, I guess we're ready to go. So what you want to do now that we're all prepared and you've got all the details you need, you want to open up your map and click on the Ruins of Cesseron in Act 3. So for those of you that didn't catch that, it's just Act 3 here, and bang, Ruins of Cesseron. So we're here, and you just go straight like this. And usually there should be no enemies around. And it's going to be the first right that we can turn around into. Look, what shit, right here, first right. There it is. So the portal's right there, and like I said, if it's not popping up like it just did for me, what you have to do is just have a quick look, press C on PC, I don't know what it is on console, but get into your inventory here and just check to make sure that you have either 6 pieces equipped, or at least if you're using the Ring of Royal Grandeur buff like I am, just make sure you've got 6 pieces active and it'll pop for you, I promise. So we've gone through the objectives, so let's go on in and do this together. I'll show y'all how to get the Mastery Achievement. Okay. And when you're in, make sure you activate Call of the Ancients, Wrath of the Berserker straight away, and then just start charging. Start charging. And then when you're at full fury, don't forget every now and then to chuck out that Ancient Spear, Boulder Toss, like I just did right there. And as you can see already, Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients is active again. I'm just running through, just waiting until mobs come a bit closer, because we have to kill every elite while that's active. So there we go, bang bang bang. And obviously when enemies are around, that's the only way you generate fury, so when you're charging through enemies, if there's no enemies to charge into, then you're not generating any fury. But as you can see, it's generally very easy to keep Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients up for 100% of the time. And we've already completed one objective, which is kill 150 enemies while Wrath of the Berserker is active. Now we just have to kill these elites. So we've got 6 out of 7 elites. We need one more. And as you can see, it's not a very big map. Where is he? He'll be coming up here somewhere. So don't forget to do Boulder Toss. And there we go. So that's all the enemies. That's all the elites killed with Wrath of the Berserker. Super, super easy set dungeon. It was requested to do this video. It might have changed from years ago. I haven't checked my old video from years back when I originally did all the set dungeon guides, but I have been told they have changed. From what I can see, this one's super, super easy. I just one-shotted it there, and you shouldn't have a problem either if you follow all of my suggestions and requirements there. It'll be very, very easy for you. If you do have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. I'll be definitely happy to help you. Don't forget to hit me up on Instagram. That's probably the best place to actually direct message me. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them on Instagram. I'm very active on there. That's probably the #1 social media platform that I'm active on. Other than that, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and most importantly, come back and visit your creepy uncle, this guy right here. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be right here waiting for you.